Ready? Yep. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay, great. Welcome. Thank you all for being here. I am State Representative Elizabeth Fuchs. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the lady from 80, proudly representing one of the most diverse districts in the state. Today, on the third day of Black History Month, and on a day where 8 anti-trans bills will be heard in our Emerging Issues Committee in the House, we come before you united in our pursuit of equity. As we, the members of the Missouri House, form the Equality Conference. With attacks on immigrants, the LGBTQIA+ community, and programs to highlight diversity, equity, and inclusion at both the federal and state levels, we are organizing in defense of these attacks. Before I introduce my colleagues, I want to speak directly to those who are scared. You are enough. You are powerful, and we got you. Because as many times as they've tried to eliminate us from history, we stand before you a testament to our resilience, and we will always be here. With that, I'd like to introduce Missouri's first out transgender representative, Wick Thomas.
Thank you all for being here. My name is Wick Thomas, and I am the state representative for District 19 in Jackson County. I have called Missouri my home all my life. I love our state, and I am trans. The first time I came to the Capitol, I was 17. A student at my school had made a song about how he was going to kill me and all the members of our Gay Straight Alliance Club. When I found a copy of this CD, I took it to our administration, and I found little support from the adults. I took the CD then to the police station, and I still found little support. After that, not knowing where else to turn, I took it to the state capitol, hoping here that there were adults that would care about this attack, this threat on so many students. From a young age, I believed deeply in our representative democracy, and I was thus shocked that I couldn't find any adults here either who would take seriously a threat against so many students. Now, here as an adult, having been duly elected by 37,000 constituents, I am saddened to see the attacks coming from inside the House. What was once high school bullying is now legislation. But we aren't scared of the bullies anymore, and we have the grace to know that hatred and ignorance are things that can be defeated. Coming out as a teenager in rural Missouri was not easy. My identity is not something that I have talked about frequently in the recent past, as I would rather talk about my work in the community, my work to clean up our public parks, to repopulate native Missouri plants, my advocacy for our homeless and immigrant neighbors, my work to help youth find their voice, and my advocacy work for education, arts, and libraries. The Missouri Legislature, through its overwhelming attack on the gay and trans community, has put the focus on my identity, rather than what we should be doing, focusing on the welfare of the people of this beautiful state. Today, we will hear 8 separate bills targeting LGBTQ Missourians. There are 10 anti-trans bills this week being heard in committee. There are nearing 100 bills attacking gay and trans Missourians that have been introduced. These attacks have made it unsafe for doctors to come to Missouri, forcing them to work against their licensed best practices and their codes of ethics. These attacks have made it unsafe for educators to come to Missouri by introducing legislation which would put them on the sex offender registry for using students' preferred names. These attacks have made it unsafe for businesses to come to Missouri, knowing that their employees will not be protected from discrimination. Make no mistake, gay and trans people have always existed. Even if our histories are not taught in schools, we have been an integral part of every culture, every time period, and every community on every continent. No amount of legislation will get rid of us. It will only serve to harm those most vulnerable in our society. While Missouri is facing serious issues, evictions, homelessness, raids, educational disparity, infrastructure problems, healthcare, and cost of living, the legislature feels the need to waste time and money of taxpayers by scapegoating trans children. It ends here. Today, we will be requesting the formalization of the House Equality Conference. There are legislators in Missouri working to swing the pendulum back towards justice, who hunger and thirst for righteousness in our home state. There are legislators who know the path forward is built on the love of our neighbors and the welfare of the people. Today, we formally organize for the betterment of the state that we love. We want to send a message to the young people of Missouri who rightly feel like they're being attacked by their government. We want them to know that they are powerful, they are loved, and there are adults in this building working for them and for all Missourians. Over the last several years, we have seen an increase in attacks on lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender Missourians. I have lived in this state my whole life. Missouri is where my parents and grandparents grew up, started businesses, and started families. Missouri is my home, the state that I love, and we will do whatever we can to make sure that Missouri is a home for all of us. Salus Populi, Suprema Latesto.
Good afternoon. Today we mark an important step forward, a moment that reflects not just where we are, but who we aspire to be. I'm honored to be a part of this announcement for the Equality Caucus, a coalition committed to the fundamental idea that everyone, no matter who you are, who they look like, what they look like, where they come from, deserves dignity, respect, and a fair shot. Now isn't the time just to talk about policy, it's about people. It's about making sure that here in Missouri, every voice is heard, every story matters, and every person knows they belong. That's the promise we aim to keep, not just with words, but with action. The work of the Equality Caucus will not be easy, progress rarely is, but is necessary. Because when we stand together, when we confront injustice, break down barriers, lift each other up, we don't just change laws, we change hearts. We shape culture, we define what it means to be a community. So I stand with you, not just in spirit, but shoulder to shoulder, ready to do the work. To fight the good fight, to make equality not just an aspiration, to make equality not just an aspiration, but a living, breathing reality for every Missourian. And now, my brother, Jeremy Dean from 132 District.
Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy Dean, and I proudly represent and serve the people of the 132nd Legislative District. Today we are taking an essential step forward in the fight for equality, justice, and dignity for all. It is my great honor to be one of the founding members of the Equality Conference, a coalition of legislators committed to advancing the rights, representation, and the well-being of all people, both in my home district and across our great state. This caucus is not just about policy and ideas, though we will be actively working in these areas. It is about the people. It is about our neighbors, our families, our friends, and our colleagues. It is about ensuring that all marginalized people are not just seen, but valued, not just heard, but empowered. LGBTQ plus people, people of color, differently abled people, and immigrants have always been essential to the fabric of our society. They are our teachers, our doctors, our artists, our military service members, and our lawmakers. They have led movements of justice, shaped culture, and contributed immeasurably to the economy and innovation. But too often, they have had to fight twice as hard to be recognized, to be safe, and to thrive. And yet, this afternoon, in this very building, the Emerging Issues Committee will hear anti-trans legislation, attempts to legislate discrimination, attempts to erase trans people from public life, to make it harder for them to access healthcare, education, and basic dignity. This is deplorable, and it is a disgrace. Instead of solving the real issues like housing, healthcare, education, these lawmakers are using their power to attack some of the most vulnerable members of our community, and we cannot and we will not let it stand. Let's be very clear. Equality is not just an issue for marginalized groups. It is a human issue. When we uplift marginalized voices, we strengthen our democracy. When we protect the rights of all people, we build a freer and a fairer world. This caucus stands on the shoulders of those who came before us, from the fight for women to be able to vote, to Stonewall, to the Black Lives Matter movement, to the ongoing struggle for our trans rights and relentless attacks on immigrant communities. And we are here to say we are not going back. We will not allow fear and misinformation to divide us, and we will fight for comprehensive protections, affirming healthcare, fair workplaces, and safe schools where every single child, no matter their identity, can flourish. This is our moment to build coalitions, to push for progress, and to ensure that every part of a marginalized group can live openly, safely, and with the dignity that they deserve. Thank you, and I'm excited to get to work. I will now pass the podium to the representative from the 86th district. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jeff Hales. I'm a representative from the 86th District, University City, Missouri. I have to say I'm so proud to represent such a progressive district as I do, but I'm equally as proud to serve with the folks behind me. I'm going to go off script because I think they hit on so many important topics. My hope from this day and moving forward is that this can be an inflection point about our priorities as a state. Representative Dean mentioned there's so many things that should be our priorities early on in this legislative session. Yet all of us, I expect, are going to be here into the wee hours of the morning, supporting our friends, supporting our neighbors, and I have no doubt probably even supporting some elected officials and each other. I will close with a quote I heard fairly recently from the late Paul Wellstone, and that is, when we all do better, we all do better. And we all have to fight for one another so that we can all do better, and we must. So thank you very much.
With the sensitivity of the hearing and the issues that we are having before us today, we are not going to take questions at this time, but we welcome questions throughout the rest of the day and from all of you to find us in the building and later at the hearing. And so that is all we have for you today. Thank you all very much for being here. We really, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks.